Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mondays with Mindy. Christian, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
I love how you take direction so well. And I take direction from you very well, I might add.
You do.
Today's episode features a conversation with one of my favorite voices to ever grace a stage. On top of being an insane musician and performer, he's also a prolific composer, lyricist, playwright, and truly just one of the most talented human beings on the planet. I'm, of course, speaking of my dear pal, Todd Almond. Todd was born and grew up in Nebraska, but quickly made his way to New York. In fact, with his theater work Girlfriend, Todd took an album from his youth and turned it into a magnificent show about young gay love. Todd grew up gay among the farms and ranches of the state's western plains, and while he had wonderful family and friends, he often felt very alone. He channeled his gifts into a passion for the performing arts, which led him to the esteemed Cincinnati Conservatory of Music to study classical music. Still, he wasn't sure if he'd chosen the right path, trying to decide between his interests in theater and music. Eventually, his love of theater won out, and he turned to acting, performing, and writing for the stage and headed to New York full time. But Todd is also music, and music is Todd Almond. Todd's original theater works include doing the books, music, and lyrics for The Odyssey, The Winter's Tale, and The Tempest, all done at the Public Theater in New York City. Also, Girlfriend and Kansas City Choir Boy, which he co-starred with Courtney Love, for the Center Theater Group in Los Angeles. Other original shows have been put up at the Yale Repertory, Lincoln Center, and Playwright's Horizon. As a performer and actor, Todd cast himself in all three productions at the Public: Kansas City Choir Boy, of course, Stage Kiss, A Piece of Meat, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and even an episode of Law and Order, of course.
Of course.
He's recorded a few solo albums and a couple of short films. And now you can understand why I use the word prolific. Todd is always creating and playing and composing and working on at least 3 or 4 projects at a time, while arranging shows for his dear friends like Judy Kuhn and Laura Berlanti, who he performed with at Carnegie Hall last year. Incredible show. And he also made his PBS debut with Andrew Reynolds, live from Lincoln Center. Last year, also finally saw Todd's Broadway debut of a show I first saw him in at the Public, Girl from the North Country, which just opened at the Belasco Theater as COVID hit. I unabashedly have asserted that he would and still win a Tony for his outstanding performance. He's also happily married to the incredible force that is Mark Subius, and they and their very close friends that are like family split their time between New York City and their house in Maine. Christian, he's a star, plain and simple. A musical genius. People need to know Todd Almond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to introduce, and I should mention that he's out in one of his homes a little further from the city, so the internet is not as stellar as it typically is. We appreciate your understanding in the technology there, but ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented Todd Almond. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Todd.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Oh my God, so good to see you.
You as well, always. So if ever Christian and I wanted to talk to a creative of any kind, which we have had a variety of, you're always going to make my top 10 list there. So we're going to start the podcast the way that we always do, with my good, trusty Johnny Adler Secrets Canister. Christian and I kind of came up with these like 20 questions. So I randomly pull 5 and we kind of just do a deep dive in.
Okay.
So here we go.
Should I be scared?
No. Oh, no. It's me and Christian. Okay. Who is your favorite relative and why?
Who is my favorite relative and why? My favorite relative is my Aunt Kay. And I grew up 2 blocks from my Aunt Kay and her husband, Dell, who's sadly very sick right now. But and they had 3 daughters. We're about the exact same ages as my brothers and myself. And I don't know what it was and even what it continues to be. But my Aunt Kay and I a lot of time will pass when we don't speak to each other. But when we do, we fall, some people you just fall into this eternal rhythm with, and I don't know why. And it's very special. We don't really talk ever, really. We don't talk that much. But when we do, we fall into this really comfortable space with each other. And I long for that space with her, and I've had it since I was a child with her. For whatever reason, she just like gets me on a deep level, and we've never talked about it. And if she's listening to this, I've never said this to her.
I love that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and I think of her, and I want to, I wish I could spend more time with her. She lives in a tiny town in Nebraska where I grew up, and yeah, I love my Aunt Kay.
All right, hi Aunt Kay. Todd, what assumptions do people make about you that are wrong?
That I'm up to speed on Tiger King. I've never watched it. I don't plan on watching it. I don't know the characters. I have no idea.
Okay, may I say, Christian Brusha? I introduced you to Todd Almond. Oh my God.
That is the most
so
topically
much.
Perfect question we've had answered so far.
Yeah,
Okay.
no idea.
What I'm
No
saying
idea.
is in the moment. It's perfect. This is so good for you. Does your life have a theme song? If so, what is it? And you must sing it. I demand you sing it.
Does my life have a theme song? The answer is
right
obviously
now.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, my life has a theme song. And for some reason today, I kept singing it. And I kept wishing all this, like, get out of my head, you're driving me crazy. And although I love this song, and I guess it's this, to my sweetheart, I just keep singing that song. They don't know about us. Oh. They've never heard of love. And I don't listen to the words they say, that I don't know the words, but it's a catchy tune. And we just, it makes me think of my husband. And it's been in my head for
Yay.
Yeah.
I love
Finally
that.
today I was like, please get out of my head. But I'm glad it's not now. Yeah.
That's so great. And a hug to Mark for me, please.
Yes, I will.
What's your favorite place to travel to and why?
Well, I have two answers. Right now, I'm at our house in Maine, which is on a little island called Vinyl Haven, and it has been my favorite place for years. Mark and I have been coming up here for over, like a dozen years, and I think about it all year, and I know we're going to go up for a week. We're going to go up for maybe 2 weeks. If we're lucky, 3. I've been up here for 1 day and then had to go back to New York and wait a year. There's just something about it. It's a very special place. And we're here. We've been here for 4 months.
And in your new home.
In our new house that we just got in November. I mean, our timing was
perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Serendipitous, to say the least.
My other place is, and I don't know what this means, I'm a big believer in dreams telling you things, like just trying to communicate with you. And there's a place, literally a place in my dreams that I go and I'm like, oh, I'm going to that place again. I know that when I go down this road, it's like right over this hill, and it's like a foreign country. It's like the most perfect magical place. And I'm like, oh, I'm going there right now. And then I wake up and I think, where is that place? And I've tried to find it on a map, but it's just like some like magic dream special place. And I know when I go there in my dream that it is somehow telling me to be grateful for some sort of happiness that I'm feeling, because I feel so overwhelmed with gratitude that I get to go to the place. I get to go to that place over that little hill. I don't know.
And it's reoccurring. Wow.
I know.
It is.
That's magical in and of itself.
It really is. It is.
Okay. Last one before we do the deep dive into creative process and all things Tony. Like Tony, not award Tony, but Tony. All right. Oh my God. Stop myself. Mindy. Todd, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, who would they be?
This is that question that I always feel like I should have thought of this beforehand, because I know what's going to
No, because we're asking them right now in this moment.
In
this little bit of history. You're not beholden to forever.
It's tricky because do you want to have dinner with people that you admire, whose work that you admire. I
Right.
mean, I find myself circling around certain artists and I wonder, wait, do I want to meet them? Because like when I go to the art museum, I don't necessarily like to read the bio or the
Yes.
inspiration of this
Right.
painting was inspired by, because I feel like artists sometimes don't know what they've made, and
Mhm.
and like talking about it can kind of
And you want your own
actually
experience.
Yeah.
counter.
Don't want to be
Yeah, and
influenced.
you actually think like, wait, the work of art is greater than you are, artist. Like you made it, but it somehow transcended that. So um I don't know if it's artists. Oh, it's such a hard question. Um
Okay, tonight you and Mark are making dinner. Who's coming?
okay. Tonight we're making dinner. We actually play this game with each other all the time. We'll say, we'll say like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I invited someone to come stay with
Oh,
us for 2 weeks, and she's coming tomorrow, and she's going to be here for 2 weeks." And he'll be like, "Who is it?" And I'm like, "It's Kathy Battle or some random
amazing.
person." Um, okay, we are having dinner, and well, Andrew Scott, just because he's so maybe cute boys, maybe that's the way to do it.
There's nothing
Maybe
wrong
cute
with that.
boys. I was online today and I saw Trevor Noah and I was like, Trevor Noah is looking so cute in this
Oh, yes.
quarantine moment.
Yeah.
And having a
Like the little
moment.
facial hair and having
Hmm.
them, but like it's like I never really
Nice.
had eyes for Trevor Noah before today. So it's
Nice
like maybe
accent
Trevor
too.
Noah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And and Bjork. So how about that?
I love
Ooh.
that.
Andrew Scott, Trevor Noah, and Bjork.
Okay, that's a dinner table. I'd like to be a fly on the wall for
Me
sure
too.
Yeah,
on that one.
that'd be
That's a
fun. Yeah,
goodie.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd bug that room.
I promised I wouldn't judge, but
yeah,
obviously I'm judging. I like it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so you being so multi-talented, meaning I know that at times you have a story in your mind and you need to get it down and then you want to put music to it. But what is your creative process as you want to define it? Do you sit down and play every day? Do you write every day? If a student were to ask you and you were on some kind of panel and someone asked you about your creative process, how would you answer?
I would say it's equal parts. Um, it's equal parts like just rolling up your sleeves and doing it, and just like forcing yourself to keep writing, but also letting a lot of time pass if you can. I have found
Mm,
for myself, I will know what I'm writing or what I'm working on is wrong, 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 wrong. But I'll just keep doing it anyway. I need to just keep at it. And then if I can, let it bake for as long as possible, a month,
Yeah.
a year. I mean, like, I find that is an invaluable step. And luckily, I work in theater where time is
right.
problematically long. I
But
mean,
you
you
also
really do have
also
to wait a
tend
long
to
time. But
you do also tend to have like three or four things going at the same time, so that you
yes,
can kind of tap
yes, yes,
when inspiration or whatever, just your work ethic at that moment,
yes.
you can kind of change.
Yeah, I'm in an interesting place right now during the quarantine where I have about four projects that I'm writing on, and one of them I'm the book writer for, and one of them I'm writing music for, and one of them I'm writing everything for, and one of them I'm writing something that I'm also going to be in. And so I
Yeah,
have been able to divide up my days and say, well, um, I'm pretty good to it, like assigning, giving myself homework and saying, well, tomorrow I
yeah,
need to get this done. So I'm going to work on that. If, I might fail, I may sit down and just completely blow it and get nothing right. But, it is really helpful to have several things to work on. That's another bit of advice. Like, don't try to get everything into one piece.
mm,
It's never going to happen. And you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're going to stop because you're going to think that you're failing.
yeah. What inspires you? And what is inspiring to you right in this moment, which is a very challenging time to actually be inspired? Um, Maybe I don't know.
It's such a beautiful moment to listen to other people's very specific stories and to, I think writers can get fixated on one topic, and a lot of times that one topic is oneself. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're Peter Morgan and you write incessantly about the royal family. You know, it's like, I'm just going to keep writing about the Queen of England for whatever reason. Right. But it's really nice in this moment to force yourself to stop and listen and just let someone else's story move you. I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I find for me in what I do, other performances inspire me. Watching other people do what they do, whether it even sometimes a sporting event, a live sporting event, I'm so moved.
Same. You know, I love going to sporting events.
Yeah, anything live, whatever that means. For me, it's very inspiring to me when someone you actually see in the moment doing what they love doing and that they're superb in doing it.
My friend Santino took me to UFC fights, which I thought there's no way. No, that's like the hardcore, like people getting bloodied. And
yes, Todd.
I was actually there. I was at UFC fights in great, like my friend Santino's in that world and he's a trainer and he's a brilliant guy. And he invited me to come with him. And we were right down amongst all the fighters and just like hanging out. And we were there the night when, I can't believe I'm even going to say his name, when Donald Trump came. Do you remember that in the news maybe like 7 or 8 months ago when he came to UFC? And there was a big debate whether people were booing more or cheering more.
Right.
When he walked in, I added my voice to one particular side of that.
Yes, I think you did. Thank you for playing. Yes.
But anyway, the point was, it was a very moving experience watching UFC fights. And I was surprised that I was maybe not crying, but that same sensation of crying, watching people very moved, because it is an intense skill that you could see the pain and the agony and the humility building up, how difficult it is to arrive at that moment. And then whatever happens, whether you win or you are so beaten and bloodied that you are knocked out, that the next day you're going to do it again. You're going to just like go back to the gym and keep going.
It's like the current day gladiator.
Yeah. And that it seemed, even though it was so violent, there was respect for the other fighter, even if there was a lot of bravado and performative, you know, if there was all this like posturing, there was still respect for the other side, and they shook hands, and it was great.
So, not to be tangential, Trudy, but you know, that's part of who I am. What week were you in performances at the Belasco with Girl from the North Country? Because I know you had the open, and I know, but I mean, it was not long before. When was your last show? Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember before
COVID.
Well. We opened. We had a month of previews,
right?
And then we officially opened on a Thursday.
Okay.
And then that weekend we made the cast recording, and then
you did.
Yeah, we went. Yeah, so Thursday show, Friday, Saturday recording, Sunday, Monday. And then on Wednesday, that was the last day. So we did 6 official performances and then closed.
Wow.
But recorded the album.
We were lucky. We were lucky, because the musical Six, they were getting ready to perform their opening night performance when the axe fell. Yeah, they were like putting their costumes on, I think.
Now, you may not know the answer to this, and rumors, at least here, are, you know, that not till January, if that, but everybody's shooting towards January. But is there going to be a backup in theaters? I mean, are you guys going to get to go right back, or is the theater contracted for a new show? Like, how is that going to work? Do you even know anything? What do you know? Give it to me.
I mean, you know,
I know it's rumor. I know. No, don't break a confidence, because I know you have inside scoop. But I just meant what you can share to the audiences.
What our producers have told us as a cast is that Girl from the North Country is coming back. Whenever Broadway opens again, it's coming back.
Great.
but but nobody knows when that really is. I mean,
Right. I
some
know.
people are saying January, some people are saying not to the spring. And then I've heard through the rumor mills, and not, I don't actually have any information here. I've heard through rumor mills that
Right.
some shows will open in March, but some won't open until the following fall, or, and ultimately,
Right.
I don't think anybody knows anything. I mean,
No.
it's
And I think
all
like
just,
television and film too, a lot of things are just going to be scrapped or tabled for a while.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I know it's going to be different for every show, but I'm excited because, as you know, when I was able to see your insane performance in the play at the Public, I told you backstage that you would be winning a Tony, and I'm sticking to that. And I'm allowed to say it, and you're allowed to not have a reaction. But I, yeah, long time coming, but like this
Thank
is
you.
it.
Thank you.
This is it, Todd,
Thank
without
you.
question. It's
Thanks.
it's
Thank
a
you.
showstopper, and I encourage everyone, once we are able to go back and sit in those seats, to go catch Girl from North Country. Okay, that was an aside. So, yes, you have told me that you have all these other shows that you are doing, but do you? I know that you take days off, but what are the hobby? What do you like to do to decompress or to unplug or just live your life as Todd?
Well, I'm a pretty introverted guy. My husband is a social butterfly. He sort of becomes the mayor of whatever space we inhabit.
I
And
understand.
and so it actually, kind of being forced to stay at home is not my least favorite thing in the world. I like to read. I don't know. I have like a stack. I carry giant stacks of books with me, and I'm like, I'm going to read these books before the summer's over. So I'm doing a lot of that. I'm gardening for the first time in my life. We put,
Oh,
yeah, I'll send you a picture. We built these, or we had somebody build these beautiful raised garden boxes
Yeah.
in
fab.
yeah. So I've been every day wandering out and like cutting lettuce and making salads and watering the flowers,
Wow.
and we planted some trees, and yeah, this
Yeah.
is so new to
Listen,
me.
you know,
I've
at Beekman
never
1802,
ever.
like I turn into a farm girl. So I'm all
Yeah,
for it.
yeah,
I'm really impressed.
right. I need to FaceTime you more and say, what do I do? Because I know you'll have the answer.
I have a very
Oh,
black thumb, so don't
Yeah,
bother consulting me. It will be dead.
yeah.
I literally have a
Christian, do you
dried
have
stick.
plants in your house?
Well,
Yeah.
yes, because my boyfriend is very, very good at cultivating things that grow and live. And I pretty much literally have a giant stick of manzanita because I went to the store and finally was like, I'm spending so much money and they're all dying. And they're like, have you considered a dead tree?
Yeah.
I was like, is that a thing? It's a thing.
Interesting.
And that's what I have, a dead tree.
Well, apparently I look the part because I was out there one day spraying things and offering people kale if they wanted it. And we had a friend over, and she said, "Oh, Todd, did he grow up on a farm in Nebraska?" And Mark goes, "No, he has no idea what he's doing."
but you're an actor. But you are an
That's right.
actor,
Yeah,
and we perpetrate the fraud like nobody's business. Not
yeah,
even fraud. We
yeah,
just we live it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so it shall be.
I,
Yeah, yeah,
I was in it.
exactly.
Yeah, I put the right
So,
hat on. You put the right hat on, and you're a gardener.
That's right.
listen, wardrobe is key. Um, you brought up growing up in Nebraska, yes, but does
Yeah.
where you grew up and whom you grew up around, did that help create your aesthetic, or it has nothing to do with your aesthetic at all?
I was thinking of this the other day. I had a very good friend who's still a very good friend. In fact, met her in Cincinnati. You met my friend Shannon. She now lives in Cincinnati.
Yes,
Um,
where you were
yes,
doing
so
Hedvig. Sorry, I have to drop a
yes,
plug.
that's
Yes.
okay, right? And she and I were, I mean, kind of like almost cliche. We were kind of like the nerdy outsiders in our tiny little town, or not. I don't know. Like I was the gay kid, and she was the like smart speech and debate girl, and we were
Hmm.
painting sets for the theater. Like just that you
Yeah.
get the idea.
Yeah.
But I would say that the way that my hometown influenced me is that everybody's really nice and kind. I mean, it's kind of
Mhm.
like sweet. And so the good side
But
of that is like
earnest,
I
right?
grew up around people,
Earnest,
yeah,
right?
but
Yeah.
I grew up around people being very nice, which I feel like is a quality I tried to pick up. But the bad side of that is that there's a lot of passive aggression around that. So like that, the flip side of that is like not asking for what you want, but then sort of assuming that people are just going to pick up on what you want, but you never said what you wanted.
Right.
So then you have no reason to be resentful, but it's your own fault. It's a whole thing. I can ask my therapist, but
no, it's ringing a very familiar tune in my life. Yes, I know that song.
Yeah. But I would say what's really carried through is the kind of bond that Shannon and I created with each other, and feeling like we could be creative in spite of a lot of adversity we were facing, or I don't know. I feel like I'm grateful where I came from, and it definitely, I feel Midwestern. I feel like I can't shake it. I can't shake the Midwestern.
No, but you are also such intrinsically a New Yorker. I just have to say, I mean, yeah. When I think of you, I know where you're from and I know your background, but you're a New Yorker for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Are you guys planning on heading back into the city anytime soon, now that LA has taken the place of the number one place that we're all where we were in March? I mean, but New York has finally opened up. I know it is nuts. Are you guys planning on going back to the city, or have you sort of just said, till we're needed?
Well, it's until we're needed. I mean, we've been talking about staying up here for as long as we need, but there's something that might be taking me back to the city, which I can't say what it is because it hasn't been announced. But I'm gonna text it to you. I'm gonna text you right now.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Do you have your phone on?
Okay, is it something that I think I know? Yeah.
Well, while you're doing that,
I don't think.
Well, while you're doing that, Christian, I'll just give our audience a little business and remind them to head to mondayswithmindy.com to check out the podcast. You can connect to it on every major podcast player, every major network, as well as see show notes about our guest, Todd. You will also be able to find a connection to our YouTube if you'd like to watch the episode. If you do watch it, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, give us a comment. We're always reading those and we're always appreciative of those. And I also wanted to say that
Christian,
yes.
Now, yes. Will you surprise Todd with our surprise?
Today's episode is actually sponsored by toddalmond.com, where you will be able to listen to numerous songs and perhaps understand why we both believe Todd's songs and voice are simply the best. We need everyone to listen to the magnificent stylings and the sublime composer, lyricist, and performer. So we encourage you to head to toddalmond.com. We'll also have that link on the website under the show notes, so you can connect there if you can't remember it or just want a quick link.
Oh my God. Thank you, Christian.
Of course.
And we just keep giving. We just keep giving. Oh my God. Okay. So you just texted me that and I'm going to poop in my pants. Okay. Oh my God.
Exciting
you understand.
News.
I wish I could.
No, it's fine. You do understand, like, set visit will be happening. Like I'm coming. Yeah. In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would poop in my pants if I was wearing them. I literally haven't put pants on in days. Okay. Maybe TMI, but anyway. Looking back.
So we might go back for that.
That would be worth going back for. I have fingers crossed and rubbing a Buddha belly and lighting a candle and everything I need to do for you. What if, and I know there's many because we all have failures or whatever disappointments. It doesn't have to be failing, but what is one that sticks out to you that after you came out of it, which most of them are, you sort of got a different brass ring or something, but is there one that you can share to sort of motivate all of us?
There was a year, things can line up in a really exciting way or in a not so exciting way, but sometimes they line up and you think, oh my God, this is happening and this, and then this, and it's going to be the greatest year of my life and it's going to change everything.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of two different examples. Maybe I'll tell you both. But there was this one year, this was maybe a decade ago, where I had like 3 big shows that I had written, and they were, for whatever reason, they all lined up and they were all happening. And 2 of them were, one was in New York City and one was at Yale Rep. And so they were near enough to New York City where it was going to be reviewed by the big papers. And both of those shows in New York were like trashed. Like we got the worst possible reviews. People hated them. And after the first one, I was really disappointed. And then I was excited about the second show, and then it was even worse. And I remember running outside. Oh my God. I remember walking outside into Tompkins Square Park. I was living in the East Village, and just, I needed to breathe. And it just started pouring rain. And I thought it was so over the top. I was crying in Tompkins Square Park in the pouring rain because my name was Mud in the New York Times.
Oh my
twice
goodness.
for the second time in like 2 months. And that was a very low point. But that, I actually learned so much, and actually, I don't actually think that they were wrong. Is the beautiful thing that I learned. I mean, it wasn't like now when I look back, I don't think, oh, it was so unjust. Those shows were brilliant and they should have been praised.
Right.
But I don't think they were wrong. I think they were flawed and problematic. But I think it forced me to really look at those pieces and figure out where I'd gone wrong. And in both instances, it was like, I didn't work hard enough. I didn't push myself. I wasn't true to what I set out to do. I compromised a million times. I didn't stand my ground. I didn't push myself. I didn't, there were a lot of things I learned from each of those. But at the time, it was really depressing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. And then they both died. And in the theater world, you really rely on the next chance, because it's not like a film where it's done, or it's not like a novel where it's done. Like theater is a living thing, and you realize, okay, I've made all these mistakes, but in the next production, I'm gonna change it. And then both of those shows really died. I mean, they were never seen again. So that was tough. And then another moment where I feel like I did stand up for myself was I was dating this guy, and I'd been working on shows with this theater company, and we did a big show, and I thought, again, I was going to change everything. This is the launching moment. And of course it was, that show was really good, but nothing happened. And this guy I was dating said, this theater thing isn't really working out for you. Did you ever think about trying something else?
Ouch.
Wow.
And it was really painful, and I was broke, and I didn't have anything on the horizon. And I could have said, yes, you're correct, I'm going to change. But I didn't. And I broke up with him. And a little tiny crumb came my way, and I took it, and that led to a bunch of changes. So, yeah.
I mean, I love that story, because while I relate to all of them, but that specifically, I've been asked numerous times, and it's one of those things where my answer has always been, I don't want to do anything else. I'm not the kind of actor that I can't do anything else. That's not how I was raised, and that's not in my DNA. But I don't want to do anything else. Yeah. And I just think if you start to tell the universe that you're into something else, that's where it sends you. Be given to you. And I have just been very steadfast by the way, to the painful observation of people around me, right? It's very hard to be a relative or friend of an artist who has, breaks, whatever you want to call them, right? It's much easier to say to them, do you want to do something else? So I really identify with that, Todd.
It is a kind of business where people who aren't in it don't appreciate or don't sympathize with that feeling, because they don't empathize with it because they don't experience it. But it is a painful it is a painful feeling of people saying, also, what are you working on? And your answer is nothing. And and like that hurts.
Myself.
Right. Also, I mean, you are a creator of but something my family has always had an incredibly hard time emotionally with is the fact that working, and you and I both share, and most people we know share a work ethic, healthy. That it's so subjective. It's not up to us. There's so many tiers of first trying to get it, and then this person says yes, and this person has to say yes, and then ultimately this person has to say yes, and then maybe you get it. It's like to try and have the temperament, and for me to keep my nature of optimism and creativity, which I know we share. I think it's one of the reasons I fell madly in love with you. is it's I'm excited by life, even in this moment. There is a sense of what's next that I find very exciting and optimistic.
Yeah.
Well, and you're so good at, you then produce, or you help people, like you're so good at channeling your positive creative impulses into actual work. And so like, you're, a lot of actors would sit still and sit on their hands, or, not know what to do, but you are like always working and always making things, and always, I love that about you.
Thank you. Ditto. So am I, and we can edit this out, but are you allowed to talk about, just since the documentary aired, are you allowed to talk about that project, that you know what I'm saying about?
I can say that I think it's okay for me to say that David Foster and I are working on.
I exhaled. Yes.
Something. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good.
We haven't. He's talked about it. He's talked about it in the press.
Yes, he has many times, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this thing. Like everything else be damned. This is on my list of number one thing I want to put my energy towards. He's made that incredibly clear.
Yeah. And so obviously it's theater, and which is now we just kind of hit this. We were supposed to do a huge workshop this summer. It was on the books. It was going to be our big, like invite everyone. We're doing it. But the good news about that is we feel like we're in a place where we can share it, and we're ready to share it.
Oh, good.
But I don't know what that looks like now.
Sure.
But yeah.
That's exciting.
It's really cool.
I am always kind of wowed by, as introverted as you are, and very, what's interesting is your world is huge and tiny at the same time. You have a very close group of friends and family. You live that way. It's your comfort zone, but you're also, obviously part of a huger community. How many incredible people you get to work with. I get green with envy, except that I know you. So all I am is thrilled for you. The envy kind of goes out the window, because I'm not a 6'5" tall white man, but that has your talent. But it is kind of amazing. Do you ever step back, Todd, in moments of reflection and pinch yourself?
Yeah.
And I know the best is yet to come. We all know this. We live in that. But I mean, really, do you do that? Do you allow yourself?
I really do. I do. I mean, I think of all, like moving to New York, and this there's a group of us in my mind who arrived in New York on the same day, and we obviously didn't, but it just like, it feels like we did. It feels like
very romantic.
And every once in a while, I will look to my left and I'll look to my right, and I'll see them, or I'm like working with them. And I do feel this sense of like camaraderie with this group of people that are all my age. And we all kind of like got off the bus, and we lost one, Michael Friedman, when he passed a couple of years ago. He's one of the guys that I feel like, we got off the bus on the same day.
Yes.
And I do feel incredibly grateful. And I like this image of kind of arms linked with this group of people that we're all just like holding on and still doing it and still trying. And then it's really great to watch them succeed, and like open the newspaper and like, there he is, there she is. Oh my God. Right. And then like, then I'll have a turn at that. And, or someone, or we'll all gather because we lost Michael, or we'll all, be at the party for that person. Or, the community in New York is so special, and I feel lucky. And it's accidental. I mean, I didn't know who my classmates would be, but here we all are.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's my dream. We talk about it all the time. That 8 shows a week. I'm dying to age into the Geraldine Page-ness of myself. I don't know how else to say it. Or the Ruth Gordon of myself. I'm just, I'm so ready. And my friends around me are like, okay, you got a couple decades, but just relax. But yeah. I so adore you.
We need this to happen.
It will. It's happening. Yeah. I adore you so, Todd, and you inspire me, and you're truly one of the most talented human beings on this planet. And I know I'm just so excited that I'll be sitting like definitely loge. Uh, maybe not front row. He's got throngs of fans, Christian, but I will definitely be loge.
I can't wait for you to see it on Broadway. It's even
Yeah.
it's the show has grown so much, and Connor's done these rewrites and
Yeah, and a couple new cast members. So, and I'm of course so ready for you and Mare to get your deserved everything and more. And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time. And it has done me well, so I know it will do our listeners well to see and hear you.
I love this.
Thank
I
you.
miss you like crazy.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Thank you
joining us.
so much.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks, Mindy. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very talented Todd Almond.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. Oh, God.